Thanks, Sophie. Hello there, I'm Charlie McCardle. Welcome to the programme. So first on the programme tonight, with colder nights like tonight now upon us, many of us will be spending more time at home. But for some, that could mean battling with mould, leaks and poor insulation. Over the past few months, a number of people have contacted the BBC to raise concerns about the quality and maintenance of homes owned by the States of Guernsey. Well, tonight, on the eve of a debate on the creation of a specific committee for housing, our political reporter John Fernandez considers the difficulties facing the island's social housing tenants and how this week's vote might help them.
Leaks when it rains and all comes down to here. That whole area leaks.
This is the reality of Kaylee's day-to-day.
When I first moved in here, I wish I still had the photos, but I sent them into housing. The first winter, because we moved in the October, and I woke up, I come out into here, and this whole area was flooded.
Oh, wow.
Flooded. We had had a storm that night, and my door there was about an inch and a half from on the bottom that was just letting everything in.
Her bathroom is covered in mould and algae, which she says the States has blamed on a lack of insulation in the loft, while her stairs have the hallmarks of a previous tenant.
Because the person that lived here before me had pigeons or something, so they completely ripped this house out and redone it, but as you can see, it's not really been done.
Kaylee was one of a number of States housing tenants who contacted me after a story we highlighted last month, showing the problems faced in Guernsey's social housing sector.
Horrible. It's embarrassing when our friends come round, and obviously it's not about living in a States house, but it's the state of it. When they're asking to use the toilet and it's yeah, but you have to use the downstairs because obviously that one's not as bad as the upstairs. So it's embarrassing for us as kids and mum, obviously, when people are coming round and they're needing to use the bathroom, but we can't let them use the upstairs because it's genuinely embarrassing.
The politician in charge of these properties and their maintenance says he can't comment on individual cases, but he insists the standard of maintenance is good.
The reality is that we've had external audits of the work that's done by our maintenance team, and they've always come back glowing. We have an excellent maintenance team, and I'm not saying there's never been an instance of some contractor, not doing a good job for us. I think that would be hopelessly optimistic. But overall, we know we have a great team and they do a great job, but they can only do what the resources allow them to do.
And that has been the issue with most things this political term in here: money. Last month, States members rejected a request from Employment and Social Security for more money to spend on maintaining social housing. So, with no new cash coming forward for housing, some deputies believe the creation of a new committee for housing may be the way of solving the island's biggest problem.
Instead of dealing with 4 or 5+ committees, we will bring the laser focus, the resources, the talent, the skills, and most importantly, the political accountability, the scrutiny, a clear messaging, clear mandate, so it is clear who is delivering on housing and who is responsible.
Critics claim a new committee won't do anything to help people like Kaylee, who say they're living in horrible conditions.
Doesn't close properly.
No, you have to really.
But as politicians clash on the subject, the problems for Kaylee persist.
I keep saying to them, you wouldn't live like this. You wouldn't allow your family to live like this. So why, just because we're in a States house, we have to? I don't get that.
John Fernandez reporting there. Well, staying with housing, and a Guernsey charity is considering 2 offers of land on which it could build modular homes for people experiencing homelessness. Caritas estimates 1,000 people in Guernsey don't have secure housing. The charity says it's received more than £7,000 in donations, as well as offers of help, some of it free from building firms and architects.
What I would like to say is, in parallel, we've had a very positive dialogue with the States. We've identified 5 potential properties that they own that we could use, and we've been told that our project will be put on the political agenda in the coming weeks.
Meanwhile, Jersey's social housing rules have been updated to give emergency priority to people who are homeless. To be eligible, applicants will need to have lived in Jersey for more than 6 months and not have savings or assets of more than £75,000. Jersey Water says the results of recent tests on its water quality have been excellent and that drinking water on the island remains amongst the best in the world. Almost 15,000 samples were taken by the company this year from its treatment works, service reservoirs and customers' taps. The company says levels of so-called forever chemical PFAS, which some researchers have linked to serious health conditions, including cancer, are 2/3 lower than UK and EU regulatory limits.
We've monitored PFAS regularly at the treatment works in our drinking water, and the average concentrations are not just compliant, they're well below, 70% below the EU and UK standards. That's the equivalent to approximately 1.5 teaspoons of sugar in 100 Olympic swimming pools.
To politics now, and 3 members of SARC's chief police have lost their seats, while 5 new members have been confirmed following the island's latest election. Conseiller-elect Michael Locke topped the polls with 179 votes, but a recount has been called, so the final results could change. The returning officer says he's pleased with the turnout.
That's 2/3 of the SARC electorate, so I'm absolutely delighted on what was a pretty poor day weather-wise, that so many people turned out to cast their vote. We only have one polling station on SARC, which is at the Island Hall. We opened it early this year for the first time ever. We opened it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it remained open right through for 10 hours until 6 o'clock.
Meanwhile, deputies in Guernsey have backed in principle the creation of a special committee to review the number of states members. During the debate, politicians threw out an attempt to increase the number of deputies by 7, while a move to reduce headcount by 5 was also rejected. Plans to introduce anti-discrimination laws in Guernsey on the grounds of sex will not be debated until the next political term. States members had been due to consider updates to the existing legislation which protects people from discrimination on the grounds of disability, carer status, race, religion and sexuality before next summer's election. But Deputy Peter Roffey, the President of Employment and Social Security, says the development of sex and gender policy can't be completed in time due to its complex and controversial nature. The Jersey Law Commission has suggested 11 possible changes to the island's human rights laws after launching a review. The proposed changes, which are aimed at making the law more effective, include allowing the States Assembly to quickly update laws ruled by the courts to be incompatible with human rights and to allow the courts to award damages if someone is imprisoned following an unfair trial. The Commission intends to publish a final report in just over a year's time. A senior representative from a veterans housing trust is in Jersey this week to meet ministers and tenants who are still waiting to return home after Storm Ciarán. Properties at Princess Elizabeth Court are largely fixed after the tornado more than a year ago, but 2 tenants remain in temporary accommodation. The trust that manages the homes for ex-military and their families has a new deal with the government social housing company to speed up any repairs and maintenance.
The homes are ready for them to move in now. The repairs themselves, 50% of the estate has got slates on the roofs. The others have got a hardened waterproof shell on the roofs, and we are monitoring that fairly closely, and as yet we've had no reports to say that it's leaking in any way.
Some news in brief now, and politicians have approved a £300,000 grant scheme to cover travel costs for people representing Jersey in off-island sports competitions. Those eligible will be able to get up to £1,000 towards their travel and accommodation from the government. Thousands of Guernsey Water customers have who have a cesspit can now access an online portal to find out about collection dates. They'll also be sent email notifications with collections are made if there are issues with access or if a collection is not required. And a happy ending. A loggerhead turtle, which washed up in Guernsey more than a year ago, has finally left the island bound for warmer seas. The GSPCA says Condor has taken Barnacle Bill free of charge to the Sea Life Centre in Brighton, from where the Royal Navy will transport her to home waters. Now, with the big day moving ever closer, the race was on to deliver the perfect present to those in need in Jersey this Christmas. The island's athletic club has held a special 5K race at which runners have donated items to a food bank instead of paying an entry fee. Of course, our communities reporter Chris Craddock decided to put his best foot forward to find out more.
3, 2, 1, go! Feeling the Christmas cheer despite the weather as they helped the Grace Trust.
So this year, instead of an entry fee, what we've said is if you could donate some goods for the Grace Trust Food Bank. Around this time, we understand how difficult it can be, and we just want to bring some joy to the people of Jersey. We've had about 45 runners tonight, and each person has brought, more than one tin each, which is amazing. So we're really pleased with the generosity. Well done!
Well done. The winner of the race was pleased with his performance too.
Right, where's Ismail Mahmood, our champion?
I've been running now since August, and it's something that I really started enjoying doing. And every time I've run, I've been faster and faster. So I'm just testing myself to see how fast I can actually go.
Runners dressed for the occasion and say the club has been a massive help to them as well.
It doesn't matter what ability you are, how slow, how fast, everyone's welcome. And yeah, they're just brilliant. We have such a laugh, such good banter, and it does improve your fitness a lot. They're so good. I wouldn't be without them. I'm Mrs. Santa Claus. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Well, with the first drive for donations being such a runaway success, Jersey Spartans want to kick on and make this an annual event for the food bank. Chris Craddock, BBC Channel Islands News, Jersey.
Bad weather, but good cause, and congratulations for all those who are taking part. Raised an awful lot there as far as food is concerned. Right, let's see what the weather is up to. David is here. David, I've got to tell you, it is so cold here, especially where I'm sat right now.
I know, actually, it's quite unusual to see such a low temperature. Both night and daytime temperatures across the islands have been pretty low. After all, we are in December, though, so we can expect single-figure temperatures. Probably the coldest night will be tonight, actually. Tomorrow, rather cloudy, the risk of a few showers. Still cold, but there is a change coming our way. This weather front, line of cloud, if you like, it's not really showing much in terms of a weather front on the system. It's right in the middle of the area of high pressure, but it is slowly sinking its way southwards towards us. We've got a good cover of cloud overnight tonight, and that doesn't change very much tomorrow. Briefly some brightness, but on the whole rather cloudy. But the big change is this front. It's not much by the time it gets to us, a few showers perhaps, but it will move in on Saturday. It'll introduce thicker cloud and a few showers. Once it goes through, though, it kind of opens the door to more westerly winds. This is Sunday. Westerly wind coming around the top of the area of high pressure. Same setup as we go into Monday of next week. So we are going to see temperatures going back up into double figures. So there is some milder air eventually arriving. Light winds overnight tonight and very little to stir the air first thing tomorrow morning. And even though we've got that cloud around, it's still cold. 2 to 4 degrees, the minimum temperature overnight tonight. Tomorrow, just a hint of some brightness, some brief holes in the cloud, but very short-lived. And then later in the day, just drifting in from the north, thicker cloud that could produce a few showers. And just 6 degrees, the top temperature, but generally very light winds compared to how we started the week. These are the times of high water: St Helier 410 and 1638. Winds are from the east tomorrow, up to a force 3, occasionally 4, generally fair with good visibility. The outlook is some showers on Saturday, quite a lot of cloud around, some brightness in the afternoon perhaps. Sunday, Monday, we get westerly winds and the temperatures, they start to go up again. Charlie.
Yeah, certainly it's going to be chilly over the next 24 days. Thank you very much, David. If you're sat at home in the warm now, I'm very jealous. The heating is not working where I am. I'll return to your screens tonight at 10:30. For now, though, bye-bye.
Well, it's time to see what you've been emailing us about this week. Here's Natalie with the inbox.
Thanks very much. Judy emailed us because she'd been scammed. She has a Klarna account, which is used for online shopping. You can buy now and pay later.
On the 30th of September, I was walking my dog when I got a call from a man saying he was from Klarna. I told him it was a scam, but he was very persuasive and said that my account had been compromised and he needed to lock it. He was going to send me some codes which I needed to give him, which I duly did. Within 4 minutes, I had £1,000 taken out of my account. I immediately phoned Klarna customer support and the purchases were put into dispute.
But Klarna came back to Judy and said they were not fraudulent purchases. She was so out of pocket, she went back to them, but found she was number 150 in the queue. That's when she turned to us. We contacted Klarna and they've told us it's all sorted. Judy's had her money back and has been given £200 as a gesture of goodwill. They said we should have spotted these were fraudulent purchases sooner, and we're looking to make improvements in our processes to ensure that customers don't have to suffer like Judy has. Tanya and Laura own a hair salon in Cornwall where they've been having trouble with BT. Their phone line was being upgraded to fibre, but the order kept getting cancelled and then reinstated, leading to long delays, stress and extra costs. There were more than £1,000 out of pocket.
We have lost count of the amount of times that this order has been cancelled and redone by BT and Openreach. Every time Openreach turn up to do the work, they find a problem. There's a problem with the address. There's a problem with something called a NAD key. Just countless, they will always manage to find a problem.
Well, we contacted Openreach and BT, and after a few more weeks, everything has been installed. Tanya and Laura are now waiting to hear about compensation. Helen was at her wit's end when she contacted us.
I ordered a sofa with dusk on the 14th of October. It was in stock and it was due to be delivered very quickly. That delivery got cancelled, and then it got cancelled multiple times after that. It's almost impossible to get hold of anybody at dusk. They don't reply to emails, they don't reply to the contact form. I've tried Facebook Messenger, Instagram, I've tried everything I can think of. I even managed to get hold of a dusk phone number which isn't publicly available, but the phone lines are always down, there's never anyone to speak to you. I'm losing the will to live with it, to be honest.
Well, Helen was worried that she'd lost her money. We contacted Dusk and she's had a full refund. Daisy placed an online order with Iceland for the first time. When it arrived, the chicken that they'd been looking forward to was out of date. It started to smell, so she threw it away. She tried to complain but didn't get anywhere. We approached Iceland. Daisy's had a full refund and been given an additional £25. Iceland also offered to deliver a fresh chicken. There we go. If you'd like to get in touch, spotlight@bbc.co.uk is our email address. Thank you very much.
A police officer who confronted the gunman at the Keyham shootings has received a bravery award from the King. Zach Printer, who has since retired from Devon and Cornwall Police, received the King's Gallantry Medal for his actions during the incident on August the 12th, 2021. Mr. Printer was given the medal at a ceremony at Buckingham Palace and says the experience was very humbling. Today marked the end of an era as the last Royal Navy's nuclear-powered Trafalgar-class submarine returned home to Plymouth before being decommissioned. HMS Triumph sailed from Scotland back to her home port in Devonport after serving for nearly 34 years. She flew the Jolly Roger flag from her fin and will be officially decommissioned early next year. Now, when it comes to choosing a Christmas tree, size, it seems, is becoming more of a deciding factor. According to one South West grower, more people are opting for skinny trees. The trend, driven by convenience, means people aren't forced to move furniture around to accommodate the broader varieties, as John Danks reports.
It's time for Yuletide trees to end their outdoor existence and take up residence in homes and public places throughout the country.
The annual ritual of buying a real tree for Christmas.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
But how many of us see that perfect one, only to discover when you get home that you've bought a supersized spruce. It's a situation the owners of this plantation near Liscard are familiar with.
They take their tree, and when they see it in the field growing, it all looks lovely and small. But by the time they've got it home, it's almost like it's doubled in size. So they get their proportions a little bit wrong. So they come prepared now, and they know what size they want.
And this festive season, the trend is smaller, skinnier trees.
It always used to be people would want an 8-foot tree, but it seems to be people going for a slightly smaller tree this year, a 6-foot tree, and always quite a slender tree, nothing too fat. I mean, they want a dense tree, but nothing too fat that's going to make them have to move some furniture out of the house.
The move to smaller, slimmer trees may be underway, but for some, Christmas will always be a case of go big or go home. John Danks, BBC Spotlight.
What are you gone for this year? Big and bushy or slim and trim? We'd love to see some pictures, and your tree could be featured on Spotlight tomorrow. There's a threat. Now, the weather and Storm Dara have dominated the news over the last 7 days, and just 3 weeks ago, it was snow and ice that caused major problems in the southwest. But today, in East Devon, ice is proving to be nothing but fun. Richard Green has been to West Point Arena to find out why.
The Devon County Showground has undergone a big freeze. The beast of a venue in the east has become the home of a massive Christmas ice rink, and it's unique.
There's no ice rink really like it in Devon. It is huge, so we can get about 350 skaters on this ice rink per session. It's over 12,000 square metres of real ice. So yeah, there's lots and lots of skating to be done between now and the 5th of January.
Ahead of the Icescape grand opening, Team GB ice skaters will be performing spectacular routines.
I really enjoy having the opportunity to spread the sport that I love. When we do competitions and championships, it's very intense, it's quite serious, so it's nice to skate for the enjoyment and also to be in a position where I can share it with other people through the Christmas period. I really enjoy.
If you come with your friends, it's a really good opportunity because then you get to share like moments together where like, I know it's going to hurt a little bit, but falling together, like helping each other up is a lot of fun as long as you don't hurt yourself, but it's going to be good.
So whether you're dancing on ice or even stumbling on ice, you can have a go at ice skating here at West Point. And you never know, you might end up being pretty good at it.
Leisure skaters will take to the ice after the professionals, but even the pros are impressed by the festive facility in East Devon.
We've done ice skating shows on smaller rinks than this, and it's a bit difficult to cram in your routines into a little rink, but when we came to West Point, it's a massive ice rink, and it seems like a nice size to get all of our stuff done, please the crowd. It's cool, it's very nice.
Richard Green, Torval and Dean protégé, BBC Spotlight, West Point.
Now, just before the weather, the results are in for the Southwest's Unsung Hero Award, and this year's winner is Ian Bennett from Croyd in North Devon. Ian's mission is to make the ocean accessible for all through his work with the Wave Project charity, as well as volunteering with the Croyd Surf Lifesaving Club and the England Adaptive Surf Team. He'll be live on BBC Radio Devon's Breakfast Show in the morning, and we'll share his story with you on Spotlight tomorrow night. Fantastic stuff. Let's have a look at the weather forecast now, and we're hoping for calm times.
We're hoping for warmer weather, I think.
Yes.
Thanks, Victoria. Hello, good evening. I've got that in the forecast as well. Today is being very grey. Many of our weather watchers' pictures just reflecting how dull the weather has been, and it will continue in the same vein tomorrow. Some subtle differences. Perhaps a bit more in the way of showery activity developing through the day. And then as we go into the weekend, that's when we're going to see the change. It won't be as cold, but it's going to feel pretty cold again tomorrow, often rather cloudy. Winds are very light now compared to how we started the week, and we are continuing to see this thick layer of cloud. It's trapped within the area of high pressure, which is much weaker now, and moving away from us. And this layer of cloud you see on the satellite picture here, that's actually starting to produce a few spots of light rain and drizzle here and there. It's trapped underneath the area of high pressure, which moves away from us, and this cold front's coming down from the northwest. That'll introduce perhaps some patchy rain overnight tomorrow night and at first on Saturday morning, but it's moving fairly steadily. That's its midday position on Saturday. once it goes through, perhaps some brighter weather. Might even get a hint of sunshine on Saturday afternoon towards the end of daylight hours. Sunday, we've got a westerly wind returning around the top of this area of high pressure. That westerly wind will give us a higher temperature, and by the time we get to Monday of next week, look where the air's coming from. It's coming from Spain, Portugal, round the area of high pressure to us, which is going to help with the temperatures back up into double figures, nowhere near as cold as it's felt this week. So for the detail, tonight there's just a chance of a few showers coming out of that cloud, and I think that will continue overnight. Not everywhere seeing rain or light drizzly showers, but certainly the risk is there. Another very grey start to the day tomorrow morning, and minimum temperatures a bit higher than earlier in the week, between 4 and 6 degrees overnight tonight. Light winds as well. So tomorrow we're going to start the day with a lot of cloud, a few showers here and there, mostly in the south, but some developing elsewhere too as the day progresses. And we do have a lot of cloud for most of the day. So unfortunately, it's going to be another grey day, and in places another damp day as well, with temperatures probably getting up to about 7, maybe 8 degrees. So tomorrow we are still in that cold air. But as I mentioned at the start, we are going to see changes to those temperatures as we move into the weekend. For the Isles of Scilly here, lots of cloud around. And I think just a few drizzly showers possible here, just 8 degrees the top temperature. These are our times of high water. For Falmouth, that's at 3:01 and 15:23, Minehead 4:13 and 16:39. And the winds are much lighter. They are from the east or northeast tomorrow, force 3 to 4. Then those winds become variable and light through the afternoon. Things change though as we move into the weekend. We pick up that westerly breeze, which will increase too. So let's look at that forecast right through the weekend and into next week. Quite a mixture of weather for the next few days. I think for Saturday and Sunday, we'll get some morning showers on Saturday and still on the cool side. But by Sunday, we've got westerly winds and those temperatures back up to 11 or 12 degrees. Next week, we are going to be quite unsettled. And in fact, towards the end of the week, it becomes quite windy again. We're keeping a close eye on that because there could be a new area of low pressure, which will bring some rain and some strengthening winds. But it will also lift the temperatures. We go from 6, 7 degrees, is what we've been at for most of this week, back up to between 11 and 13 degrees. Now, I think for most of us, a little bit of mildness coming back is no bad thing. It's been a cold week so far. Have a nice evening. Victoria.
Loads of Christmas tree pictures coming in from people. Thank you so much, Jean, Teresa, Jules, Louisa and Chris. That is an absolute whopper. We hope to show it again tomorrow. See you then. Good night.